question on the Washington Post poll today, which you probably saw, which said that most disapprove of President Biden's handling of climate change. I mean, the gist of the story is that most people don't really know what's in the IRA. And I'm hoping you can speak to what the White House is doing to sort of tackle that perception and, of course, further the fight against climate change.
Well, look, the United States has become the essential place to drive climate action forward. Take, for example, and you're talking about, what's the perception of the United States? So let's talk about that. The perception of the United States is folks have invested over $210 billion in the U.S. electric vehicle industry. The U.S. is now the single number one nation destination for private investment in EVs. 1 out of every 12 vehicle that was sold was electric. That's 3x what it was when the president took office. There's twice as many charging stations as people drive down the road. And under this president, we're going to get to 500,000, which means they will become increasingly ubiquitous. And, the jobs we're talking about, again, give you the example of someone on Main Street just 2 weeks ago showing up. This is transforming people's lives in a fundamental way. And, I think another question I think a lot of folks had was, well, can we not only do this, but can we make it here in America? Karine talked about the massive solar deployment that's taken place. But think about this. We've expanded solar manufacturing capacity by a factor of 8, which means 8 million homes worth of solar panels will be produced here by the end of the president's first term. Credit Suisse, again, what is the perception? Now says that by 2030, we will be able to supply 90% of U.S. demand for solar. So, I think whether it's offshore wind, where you've got supply chain in 46 states, whether it's the 100 factories that are being built, whether it's folks who can now access a $7,500 tax credit for new vehicles, $4,000 for used vehicles, whether it's people who, you spend half your money in heating and cooling costs for a home energy bill, that's now the subject of a rebate. You can get support swapping out your HVAC system. So I think we're making a massive difference in terms of the costs that people absorb on utility bills, cutting those costs. We're making a massive difference in lifting people up into clean energy jobs. And the president's translated the greatest risk we face into our greatest economic opportunity.